Dear students, I am here with a new lecture from the chapter Respiration of the course Plant Physiology 1. Today, in this lecture, I will discuss the process of respiration in detail. So, I will discuss glycolysis in this lecture, which is the first step in the process of respiration, and it is common among aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Because in previous lecture, I told you that both types of respiration they have common type of process of glycolysis, and after glycolysis they had different routes to adopt during the process of respiration. So in today's lecture, I will explain you what is glycolysis, what is the major pathway of glucose utilization, and what is the enzymatic mechanism which is involved in the glycolysis pathway. Because I told you this is respiration overall is the enzymatically controlled reaction, and these are more than 30 steps which are involved in the catabolism of a single glucose molecule. So here we will start glycolysis. It is also named as EMP cycle, based on the scientist who discovered this process, Emden, Meyerhoff, Parnas, or hexose diphosphate pathway. It is derived from Greek word glycose, which means sugar, and lysis means splitting of or breakdown of that sugar. Glycolysis is actually the lysis of sugar or lysis of glycogen. It starts with glycogen in animals and with glucose, close, or starches in case of plants. All steps of glycolysis takes place in the cytosol, while in both aerobic and anaerobic type of respiration. Glycolysis is independent of the presence of oxygen. Although in glycolysis carbon dioxide is not released from the substrate, however, ATPs are certainly produced. Glycolysis is common to both aerobic and anaerobic type of respiration, as I told you. So, let's start glycolysis. It has two phases. One is called the prepare to prepare the reactant to get enter into the glycolysis. So preparatory phase, and the other one is payoff phase. So in first phase, it based on five steps that involves the cleavage of hexose sugars into the simple compound, and at this phase, in these five steps to get initiated, two molecules of ATPs are utilized. So this is the schematic presentation of all of these steps, and in next I will explain you one by one. Here glucose, by the use of ATP, I told you ATP will be utilized in this step. So one ATP will be used here, and it will be converted into ADP, and glucose molecule will get converted in glucose 6 phosphate in the presence of hexokinase. And these again glucose 6 phosphate will convert into fructose 6 phosphate, and this into fructose 1,6 biphosphate. And from this it has two products, that is glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate and dihydroxyacetone phosphate. And glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate will next continue the process of glycolysis. So all these five steps they are included in the preparatory phase of the glycolysis. Next phase is called the payoff phase, in which fructose molecule, fructose 1,6 biphosphate molecule, they get converted into 2,3 carbon compounds, and as a result of this conversion, 4 ATPs are produced. And as I told you, ATP stands for adenosine triphosphate, and I explained you all the abbreviation in the start. So here I will use only abbreviated term of the respective molecule. So in first phase, 2 ATPs are used, and in the payoff phase, 4 ATPs are produced. So net gain is 4 minus 2 is the 2 ATPs in the process of glycolysis, and this is common among both type of respirations. And this is the glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate converted into 1,3 by phosphoglycerate and 3-phosphoglycerate, 2-phosphoglycerate, and ultimately it is converted into the pyruvate by the use of different enzymes. This is the schematic presentation. Now each step of the glycolysis I will explain one by one in detail, because it is fundamental to the process of respiration to discuss the glycolysis in detail. So in first reaction is the phosphorylation of the sugar. This is the first phosphorylation reaction that occurred during the process of glycolysis. And in this process, here you can see in the example glucose, which is the 6 carbon compound, by using one molecule of ATP, and in here hexokinase enzyme and magnesium. In the presence of these two, it get phosphorylated, that is phosphate group added into its molecule, so it get converted into glucose 6 phosphate, and as ATP is utilized for this phosphorylation, so ATP get converted into ADP, adenosine diphosphate, and in this process 16.7 kilojoule of the energy is utilized. So there the as enzymatic reaction, so in main enzyme here is the hexokinase. Second step, when glucose 6 phosphate, that is glucose is phosphorylated. Next step is the isomerization. Iso means same, it means just the conversion of the metabolic form. 6 carbon compound will remain 6 carbon compound, it just change its a bit structural, have structural variation to form the isomer. I also explain you what is the isomer. If the molecule have the same chemical formula but different in structure, and only the structural difference exists in the placement of the hydroxyl ion on the carbon atom on the right side or on the left side. So based on this, the orientation of the molecule completely changed, and due to this, properties of the molecules also changed. So in case of glucose 6 phosphate, if you see, this is aldehyde sugar, and this is converted after this phosphorylation, isomerization into ketone sugar, and this process, whole isomerization process, occur in the presence of phosphohexose isomerase enzyme, and magnesium ion is also utilized in this process. So glucose 6 phosphate get isomerized into fructose 6 phosphate. And this in this process, first step energy is utilized, because I told you 1 ATP is utilized, but in this process 1.7 kilojoule per mole of the energy is. Third step is the phosphorylation of the fructose 6 phosphate, that is the second phosphorylation. First phosphorylation occur in the first step when glucose get phosphorylated, then it isomerized, and in the third step fructose molecule which is formed get phosphorylated, and again it occur in the presence of enzyme. So we see the example on the chemical formula, fructose 6 phosphate as it is phosphorylation is the energy intensive process, so one molecule of ATP is again utilized for this second phosphorylation of the molecule, and the end product of this phosphorylation is the fructose 1,6 biphosphate. And as ATP is utilized for energy production, so ATP converted into ADP. And this whole procedure occur in the presence of phosphofructokinase 1, and it is enzyme, and it is abbreviated as PFK1. And this procedure again occur in the presence of magnesium ion. It is important to tell you, if by any means this enzyme is disrupted or this is deficit in the cycle, or even this ion, organic ion, is not present in the body, then in the absence of this enzyme, specific enzyme, glycolysis will not proceed to the next step, so the whole process of glycolysis will shut down. This is the elaborated cyclic presentation of each molecule and how they get converted from one form to the other form. The only difference, this is unphosphorylated molecule and this is the phosphorylated molecule of the fructose. And in the whole procedure, as ATP is utilized, so it is the energy intensive procedure. So 14.2 kilojoule of per mole of the energy is utilized in this reaction. So the common thing between first phosphorylation and the second phosphorylation is the utilization of the energy, and in the second step, in isomerization, the energy is produced actually. The fourth step, that is the cleavage. Cleavage means the removal of some particular molecule. So we see the equation. Fructose 1,6 biphosphate get converted into two molecules. One is the 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde, which is abbreviated as PGAL, and the other is dihydroxyacetone phosphate, which is abbreviated as DIHAP. And this process occur in the presence of aldolase enzyme. It is called cleavage because now this 6 fructose is the 6 carbon compound. If you remember the lecture of carbohydrate, in which I explained you the structure of sucrose, fructose, glucose, mannose, and other monosaccharides. Here fructose is the 6 carbon compound and it get converted into 2 3 carbon compounds. The phosphoglyceraldehyde is also a 3 carbon compound. Dihydroxyacetone phosphate is also a 3 carbon compound. So that's why it is called technically cleavage. That is the conversion, splitting off into two molecules. As in this procedure, again energy is produced, and that is equivalent to 23.8 kilojoule per mole. Here you can see in a clear mode, this is the structural presentation as molecule exists. Here you can see glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate is, again I told you what is the difference between the ketone and aldehyde. You need to see the terminal carbon molecule. So here this is the aldehyde, and here when both sides are covered by a carbon and one oxygen, then this is ketone. So it is cleaved into one acetone 3 carbon compound and one aldehyde 3 carbon compound. Here you can see the simple form fructose 1,6 biphosphate bifurcated into glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate and deoxyriboacetone phosphate. And it is also interesting to know these two lines between the equation with arrows on both sides represent it is a reversible process. means it can move forward and it can also move in the backward direction, means glyceraldehyde, phosphoglyceraldehyde and dihydroxyacetone phosphate can get combined by the use of triose phosphate isomerase enzyme and will be converted into fructose 1,6 biphosphate. So this step is crucial as it can move backward in into the backward direction, so it can limit the process of glycolysis uh, during respiration. So this is the isomerization. Again, isomerization means the just the conversion of one form to the other. So in which dihydroxyacetone phosphate get converted into glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate, and this procedure occur in the presence of triose phosphate isomerase enzyme, and it is as only the difference between these two is the one is the aldehyde and one is the ketone sugar. Three carbon, both are three carbon compounds. The only difference between the ketone and aldehyde group. So these two forms can get converted into each other, but it is important to know that only glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate can get enter into the next glycolysis process. Acetone form of the glyceraldehyde will not be able to continue the process of glycolysis, so it will get entered into any other metabolic pathway, and it is a reversible process. As we have a short time, so I will continue the rest of the stage to explain you the rest of the stages of the glycolysis in my next lecture, which will be the continuity of this current. Overall, we learned in the initial 5 stages that two ATPs during the two steps of phosphorylation that occur in the first step and in the third step get utilized and they are converted into ADP. Now we will start with the payoff phase. As a name indicate that it will pay you for the thing you invested in the procedure, and in this situation investment is actually those two molecules of ATP that are utilized during the phosphorylation process at first and third step of the glycolysis. Now the two ATPs that we utilize to initiate the procedure, now in that response how much ATPs at the end we obtain as net gain of the reaction, because every we are talking about again and again that respiration is meant for the production of energy. So up till now we utilize the energy, and so in these steps I will explain you how energy is produced. So this is the sixth step, that is called oxidative dehydrogenation. And if we see the chemical equation, that 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde, as I told you that aldehyde form of the glycerol will enter into the next process of glycolysis. So 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde in the presence of NAD will get dehydrogenated into 1,3 biphosphoglyrate, and a molecule of NADH and H2 will also be produced in this reaction, and the enzyme that catalyzes this reaction is called glyceraldehyde phosphate dehydrogenase. Now it is in this procedure 6.3 kilojoule per mole of the energy will be produced. Now again, like the previous step, it is interesting that this is a reversible process as indicated from the direction of the arrows. That 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde can get dehydrogenated into 1,3-biphosphoglyrate, and meanwhile they can move into the backward direction also, and get converted back into 3-phosphoglyceraldehyde glyceraldehyde. So seventh step is the substrate level phosphorylation. And if we see again the equation 1,3-biphosphoglycerate in the presence of ADP and phosphoglycerate kinase enzyme, and in the presence of magnesium ion get converted into 3-phosphoglycerate and a molecule of ATP is produced. Here you can see this is the first step where ATP is produced. As I told you, this is the payoff phase. Payoff means now in these steps we are expected that ATPs will be produced in response to the reaction which is initiated by the utilization of the two ATPs. Eighth step is the shift of phosphoryl group. In this 3-phosphoglycerate molecule, again in a reversible reaction in the presence of phosphoglycerate mutase enzyme and magnesium might get converted into 2-phosphoglycerate. So here you see mutase enzyme of the phosphoglycerate will be utilized, and in this procedure a minute energy 4.4 kilojoule per mole will be produced. And presence of magnesium ion is also compulsory for the occurrence of this reaction. Ninth step, this is the second last step of the process of glycolysis, and it is called dehydration. In this procedure, 2-phosphoenol pyruvate, 2-phosphoglycerate in a reversible reaction in the presence of pyruvate kinase enzyme will get converted into phosphoenol pyruvate, and again a molecule of ATP will be produced. Now this phosphoenol pyruvate, these two molecules of phosphoenol pyruvate in the presence of two ADPs in a reversible reaction will get converted into the pyruvic acid. And in this reaction, enolase enzyme will be used. And in this reaction again you see in the dehydration reaction 2 ATPs in 1 ATP in the first reaction, and 2 ATPs in the next conversion are produced. So total product of ATPs are 3, or net gain of the ATP in this step is 3 ATP, and 1 ATP is produced in the previous step. The last step of the glycolysis that convert into the ultimate product, end product into of the glycolysis, that is pyruvate with the release of energy. It is called substrate level of phosphorylation again, and in this phosphoenol pyruvate in the presence of ADP will be converted into pyruvate and ATP will be released. In this, some sort of energy will also be utilized, that is equivalent to 31.4 kilojoule per mole. But most interesting is it is no doubt energy intensive, but meanwhile energy is also produced. So utilization plus production are almost equivalent to each other. And this reaction occur in the presence of pyruvate kinase enzyme, and here potassium and magnesium, the presence of these two organic molecules is compulsory for this reaction to occur. So here we see in total in the whole of glycolysis, 2 ATPs are utilized and 4 are produced. So if we want to find out the net gain, then 4 minus 2 is equal to 2. It means 2 ATP are the net gain of the process of glycolysis in the both type of respiration, that is aerobic respiration and anaerobic type of respiration. This is the schematic presentation of all the 10 steps together in one slide, in which we can see it is further you can categorize these reaction into three types. The first four reactions here, you can see glucose to glucose 6 phosphate and glucose 6 phosphate to fructose 6 phosphate and fructose 1 6 biphosphate. And from here it is the cleavage of this molecule occur, this cycle. And these initial four steps, these are called the activation. So there, as it is the activation of the molecule to get entered into the complex metabolic processes, so here two molecules of ATPs are overall utilized. And this over the arrowhead, it represents the enzyme that catalyze this specific reaction, and in the absence of these enzyme, this conversion is not possible at all. And the direction of arrows, you can see on one side of arrow represent it can move only in one direction, and arrow head on the two sides represent it is a reversible process. So at any stage of the cycle, fructose 6 phosphate can back converted into glucose 6 phosphate, or glucose 6 phosphate could be converted into the fructose 6 phosphate. So it is a reversible process. Again, this is irreversible, and this is reversible, reversible, and reversible. So here you can see. So this is called cleavage, and the next five last steps, these are called the oxidation reactions. Actually, in these reactions, energy is not utilized. The energy which we utilized here or put into the cycle in that's why it is called preparatory phase, and this is the payoff phase. In this, mostly we get the energy in terms of ATP, and 4 ATP molecule in the last five steps are produced in the process of oxidation. And here the glyceraldehyde which is produced, two molecules, one is the ketone type and the other is the aldehyde, and only aldehyde form can get entered into the next cycle. This is the summary of the 10 steps. As I told you, in my 5 steps I explained you in my previous lecture, and 5 in today's lecture. So this is the overall presentation of the whole process of glycolysis. So, generation and utilization of ATP during glycolysis, during glycolytic pathway, the molecule of ATPs are produced as follow. There are two ways. One is the direct transfer of phosphate to ATP, and the other one is the oxidation of NADH produced during glycolytic pathway to NAD positive. So, net reaction of the glycolysis or overall reaction of the glycolysis include the glucose molecule in the presence of 2 NAD molecules, 2 ADP and 2 phosphate get converted into the 2 pyruvic acid. This is the chemical formula for the pyruvic acid, and 2 ATPs. As I told you, the net gain is 2 ATP because we utilize 2 ATPs, and 4 ATPs are produced. So 4 minus 2, as we are interested in net gain, not net investment. So 2 ATPs overall are produced in this reaction, and 2 NADH and 2 hydrogen atoms are produced overall in this reaction. So in the end of the glycolysis, net gain of ATP, as I explained you, during glycolysis, 2 triose phosphate molecules are formed from one glucose molecule, and 4 ATP molecules are produced. Out of 4 ATP molecules, 2 ATP molecules are utilized in first few steps in converting glucose to glucose 1,6 biphosphate. Moreover, 3 ATP molecules are produced from the oxidation of each of two molecules of NADH produced during the catabolism of glucose. So as each NADH produce 3 ATP further, and we know 2 NAD are DH are produced. So 2 into 3 is equal to 6, and 2 this is produced in the second type of production of ATP method, and in a direct production 2 ATPs are produced. So overall 6 plus 2 is equivalent to 8. So overall net gain of 8 molecules of ATP occur during the process of glycolysis. However, in anaerobic respiration, NADH and in the presence of hydrogen ion is not converted to ATP, and therefore only 2 ATP molecules are produced only in anaerobic respiration. This is again more simple and schematic presentation, at which step ATP is consumed and at which step ATP is produced. So first ATP is consumed during the first phosphorylation of glucose to glucose 6-phosphate. The other is to the use at the third step of the cycle. Fructose 6-phosphate get phosphorylated into fructose 1,6 biphosphate and 1 is utilized. And at this stage there is no gain of ATP. At the seventh step of the glycolysis, 1,3-diphosphoglycerate get converted into 3-phosphoglycerate, and at this step, 2 ATPs are produced. And at the last step, phosphoenol pyruvate when get converted into the final product of glycolysis, that is pyruvate. At this stage, 2 ATPs are further produced. So overall, 2 ATPs are directly consumed and 4 are directly produced. So 4 minus 2 is equal to 2, that is the net ATPs during the process of glycolysis. Now, what is the product? What will be the called as the product of glycolysis? As I explained you at the last, pyruvate is produced. So, in aerobic organism, pyruvate produced in glycolysis is oxidized to carbon dioxide via Krebs cycle. So, pyruvate is the end product of the glycolysis, and with this NADH also the proved itself as the end product of the glycolysis, because each NADH is equivalent to 3 ATPs. It produced 6 ATPs, and ATP is our the main purpose of glycolysis to get produced. So NADH produced in glycolysis in Krebs cycle is reoxidized via the respiratory chain with the production of much additional ATP. So I use these three books to prepare this lecture. I hope the lecture will be interesting for you and you will be able to understand what is the difference between the aerobic and anaerobic respiration, and how glycolysis occur in both types of respiration. Thank you very much.